Hello everyone, welcome back to Netcode-Hub channel. In this video, we are going to talk about how to integrate confirm email or email confirmation into Blazor authentication system. As you see on the screen, we've had a video on how to provide an authentication and authorization in Blazor WebAssembly. I have that video link under the description. When you check related videos, you can see we have introduction to authentication in Blazor WebAssembly, and also role-based. How do you add a role-based to Blazor WebAssembly? So the project that you see on the screen here, I have now integrated authentication. So example is what you see here. Now you can see I have registered and I have login. So I have an login account whereby I can actually log into this application. Before I log, you can see when you check the counter, nothing happens here. Home, nothing here. Fetch data too, nothing happened. Now this fetch data, it is saying that please log in first before you can see any source of data from this section, this controller. So as you can see from here. Now let's try to log in and see. So I'm going to log in with this account, and the password is user@123. So I'm going to log in. So let's wait. Okay, so username is incorrect. Let's pass the correct one. So it's admin@123. Let's see. Okay, so you can see we are now logged in, and hello, you can see we have our email over here as our username. We have a logout button displayed, and we have our buttons here. So if I click on counter, it is saying hello, you are a user. So I'm a user now. Now I can click on fetch data. This is for administrator, so user can still have access to this unless I am an administrator. Okay, so if I log in, let's try and see if I have an admin account. So log in, and do I have an admin account? So admin @admin. Let's see if I have admin account. If not, then we have to create an admin. Okay, so we can now create an administrator account over here, because this is what we have as the user. For now, you are not concentrating on this. Okay, what you actually want to concentrate here is how to perform an email confirmation. So how do I confirm my email after registration? If you want to have a whole video or a whole tutorial on this, check the related videos under the description. I have all the videos linked over there, so you can just click and watch about integrating authentication and also authorization in Blazor WebAssembly. Alright, so let's see. Now you can see if I decide to create a new account, let's see what happens here. So I'm creating a new account, so I can write new account at newaccount.com, and as you can see from here, I'm passing the password as new account. So a new account @123. Now confirm the same password as new account @123. Now click on submit. Now you can see as soon as I click on submit, now I've created a new account, but there is no email confirmation. I can log in with this, the one that I created. So let's see. So new account at newaccount.com and new account @123. Now you can see I am able to, let's see, so new account @123. Let's see. Okay, so you can see I am now logging here, and that isn't the best. Okay, so after registration, we want to confirm my email first before we can actually log in. So maybe a confirmation link will have to be sent to the person's email that provided, and the person has to go to the email account and click on that button. As soon as that button is clicked, it then has to navigate or redirect the user to our controller. Then it has our application authenticated or confirmed, and we're going to update the database as well. Okay, so let's try to get this in this application. But before we do that, let me log out here. So you see I have a new one over here indicated. That's the default one. Now what you have to do here is, for the purpose of this, I want us to create a fake email account, and that's what we're going to use for this tutorial. Okay, actually I can't use my Gmail account here, and it isn't safe as well. So let's use a fake one, and that is being provided by the ethereal.email server, and we can actually go in that and use it. It has the same features as the Gmail, the same port, and I think they're almost the same. So let's say let's first try to navigate to that site and try to have an account, a fake account. That's what we're going to use for this registration. All right, so I'm going to open a notepad here, and that's what I'm going to copy our email and credentials to. Okay, so let's navigate to create a new tab, and it's ethereal.email. So let's create a new account over there, and here you can create a fake email account. Okay, so Ethereal is a fake SMTP, right? Service. Okay, so let's create a new account here. So click on this button to create new account, and that is what we have here. So this is our name. Okay, so you can actually grab this. So there's the email and there's the password. So let's grab everything here. And as you can see, there is the information here. The SMPT, the host is smptethread.email, and the port is 587, the same as Gmail. Okay, so this is the information that we actually need here. So let's copy this and let's paste this here. So you have an email, we have the host, and we have the port. These are the things that we need. Okay, so once we have this, the next thing to do here is we have to install a package. That is what you're going to use to create the email services, and the package is called SM. That's the Mailkit. So let's install that into the server project. So open server project. Now right click on dependencies, and let's add manage NuGet package. Under these packages, we are going to then add the Mailkit. So let's click on the browse tab, and in here we have to pass in the Mailkit. So this is a package that we need to install to enable us to perform this very well. So let's wait while it searches, and that is what we see, Mailkit by Jeffrey. So this is what you want to install. Click on install here, and let's wait. Okay, so it is done. When you click on the output, you can see it is finished now. Alright, so now we have installed our package. What is the next thing to do? We have to configure our app settings.json file. Okay, so these are the things that you're going to need in the application. Let's pass the email, the host name, and everything about there, so that I can actually have access to this. Now let's click app settings.json under the server project, and in there here we are going to specify some few things here. So we can pass in comma here, and the next line I have it over there, so we just have to make a copy of this and we paste it over there. So that's very simple. Let's copy this and let's go to application. Now let's paste this. So allow, it has been repeated, we clear that off. Now this application URL, and what is the application URL here? And when you run that project, it is 7250. So that's the port. So we have it here. We're going to use this to generate the link that's going to be sent to the user. So we make sure we have the application URL over here, and our email username that we have here, it is, let's clear this off. So let's go to, and it is Percival99. So we can copy this from here, then let's go to the settings. Now we have to replace it here. So there is the email. Okay, and now the host is the same over here, and now the password is, let's see, do you have the password here? There's the password, so let's copy this, and now let's paste the password here. Okay, so we have our service, we have the email username, and we have a password. So these are the things that we're going to use to the Mailkit to authenticate us into this, the email service, to be able to set a message to any user at all. Let's save this. Now once you're done with this, we can now close this. Now once you're done, the next thing that we can actually do here, it is also quite simple. So we have to create a DTO, and now you know DTO stands for data transfer object, and it is used to transfer data between controller and service, not with the user. you want to transfer data from a user or from the controller to the user, then you have to use view models. Okay, but here we are using a DTO, that is a data transfer object from controller between service, so it's going to run between them. So let's go in there and create this DTO in the service project, server project. And do you have a folder called models? No, we don't. So let's create a folder called models. Right click and down, let's add new folder and a server project and name it as models. So with this models, let's create a class. So let's create a class. Now the name here is going to be request. So this is going to be a request DTO. So request DTO, and that's going to be a class. So we click on add. So once it's being generated, now what we can actually do here is we're going to copy these three properties into our class. What are these properties going to do for us? Now, as you can see from here, we have few things that we need to configure. That is 2. So instead of setting up this, we can decide to clear all these off, and we can set it as string. So we can use this to set it. Okay, now this one, so making it nullable. Okay, so now in this request, it is demanding what? 2. So whom are we sending a message to? That is the user's email. Okay, now the second one is subject. What is the subject that you want to pass? What is the message that you want to send to the person's email? So that's very simple. That's why we say it's a request, because this is requesting the data from the user. So it is request, okay, from that is from user to the system, the server. Okay, so now once you have this request, you can now save this. Let's close this. The next thing that we need to do here is we have to go in there and update our account controller. That is where the user account gets created. So let's go to Solution Explorer. Now in Solution Explorer, we go to controllers folder, and now as you can see, we have an account. I said earlier on that we have this project done in the past video, so I have the link being added to the links in the description. So check it under related videos. You're gonna see them. If you want to know the step-by-step way of add authentication to your Blazor application, you can do that. But in case you have done this already too, then you can now move on as I am doing here. Okay, so that is our account controller. Now when the user finishes creating the account, that is where we want the user to confirm the email, because the email that the user is going to provide, we want to send this link to the person's email account. So the user has now go into the account and tries to confirm it by clicking the button that we are going to generate here. So this is going to happen after we have created a new user, and now this code here, it is getting us the row. So it is getting us the row that's going to be added to the token. As you can see, we have 2 rows for now, user and admin. And the next thing that we're going to provide here, that's what it's going to work. So let's see. I have the code here. It's very simple, and that's what we need to do to get that. Okay, so in here, this is what we are going to do. So let's copy this, and we are going to generate our email token. So let's see in here, let's paste this. Now first of all, we are going to create a variable that is confirm email token, and we're going to get that from the user manager. Because user manager, it is here. So we inject it over here, and we can now use it anywhere that we want. Okay, so this user manager, as you can see from here, we are going to generate email confirmation token async. Now there is a method part of this user manager. Okay, so as soon as you click on dot, you see we have the list of all methods under this user manager. So as you can see from here, generate email confirm token, generate new authentication key, and etc. Change password token, etc. So here we pass in, you want to get the generate email confirmation token, then you pass in this new user that is coming in. Remember that this is a registration model, and we did that in the previous video as well. This model comes in with username and password, so we just have the created using the username and password. Now, in order for us to get a full link, you know, when it finishes generating the token, we might have maybe a plus sign, underscore, forward slash, backward slash, and etc. And we can't convert that to, we can't use that in a link. So in order to use that in a link, we have to generate it and pass it as a base64 URL. And that is exactly what we are doing within these two variables here. So here we get the byte, we convert it by getting the byte from this email token, and after that we have to generate it to base64 URL encode. So now it is encoded here. Okay, so if you want to turn this as a token, then we have to decode it to get the token. But for now we are encoding it, so this is going to create a URL with that token for us. So we create a variable known as URL, and I will decide to write or populate our URL. So this is what we start to code. Now there is an app URL. Do you remember this app URL? When you go to the app settings, you see we store it over there. That is the https:/localhost and the port. So there is the key from that app settings. Then we are getting an API. Now this API, we are navigating to account. So this account, then a method known as confirm email. So this is what we need to provide. So this account here, as you can see, this is the controller that we are creating this method in, and that controller is named as account. So this is an API. When you go to the route, it is API/controller's name. The controller here is account. So no matter if you change the name to capital or lower, it doesn't matter. Okay, as far as this account, it's going to work either caps or lowercase. It's going to work. Now API/account, and so now from here after this, we are having localhost and the port 7250/API/account controller. Then within the controller, you can see we have a method known as confirm email. So this is a method that we're going to generate next. Then we're going to provide the user ID, and we're going to add a token. So this account or this method is going to receive two properties or two parameters, ID and token. Okay, now why are you having this here? Because we need to configure that. Now let's see what we can actually do. Let's register the configuration, and let's inject this service to make it work. So we copy this, and in here let's add this here. Okay, and inside this account we can actually copy this, then we can add it here. We can copy this, and let's initiate it. So we have now initialized it. So when we call configuration, we can now navigate to the app settings and grab the content of this key, app URL. So we have a key generated. Now for us to able to get this, the next thing that we can do here is we're going to create a response DTO, that's a request DTO, and now pass in this message to subject and message. Remember that that message containing, that model contains 3 properties. So let's see what we can do. So you can grab this here. So let's copy this. Now inside here, you can paste this here. Okay, so we create a new request DTO. So let's add this control plus period. Then let's see. It's a request DTO. So let's see, do we have it in our models? So we have models, and the name here, so the name is supposed to be request DTO. So see what we have to make it well. Let's see, let's try to set it here. So request DTO, and that is the name of the model. So okay, so request DTO, and this is going to change. So let's wait whilst it gets changed. Then we can now move on with it. Alright, so let's save this, and in here, control period, we can now use the model. Okay, and here we need to inject. So this is what you do. We create an object out of this. Now when you go to request DTO, this DTO contains 3 properties: to, subject, and message. Now to is the email that the person provided. Now the subject is confirmed email account. Now the message here is welcome to. So we are using a Netcode-Hub site. Please confirm your email account by clicking on this button. Okay, so with this button, you're going to provide an anchor button here. So as you can see, and we're using the URL that we have created as a link. Okay, then we click, or we set as click here. We close the button, and there's a paragraph. Very simple one. Then the next thing that we are doing here is we have to send this method or this model to the email service to get it to work. So here we create an object as a return test. Then we set a wait. We create an email service here, and this email service is going to be a method in this interface, and the method name is going to be an send email. We pass in this request DTO. Now the request, if the request or the return contains mail sent, it means everything works. Then we can now return this registration result as successful. Okay, so we can return this, and we can now, if not true, we can also return success is equal to true. That is when everything works successfully. Okay, so this method is what we are using to get these services done. Now, in order to make it happen, we need to create this interface. That is the email service. Okay, so we need to create this interface, and we can do that in a simple way. So let's go to Association Explorer. Now in here, in our models, let's create another one known as a service. So let's see what we can do here. We can create it as, so this is the email service. Now this email service, let's name it as service in the project. So let's right click on the server. Since I don't have any service folder, let's right click on the server, and let's add a new folder known as service. So this is service folder. Now this service folder, let's create an interface and implementation. So new item, and the interface, we're going to name it as iEmail service. So iEmail service. Now aside from creating this iEmail service, we need to create the email service as well. So that's going to be the implementation. Right click and class, and the name is going to be email service, and this email service has to inherit from the iEmail service. Okay, so let's go here and I'll try to define the interface. Now here we're going to use a single statement, that's a single interface, and that's going to be a tax of string because we want to return a string. So tax of string, and the name of the method is send email. Okay, when you check our controller, you see we have email service.send email. So this is what we are looking up for. So let's click on this control period, and now let's see. So we are not having the service now, as you can have the method over here. So we're going to use that. So send email, and that's what we are defined over here. Now let's go to this and let's start defining the property. So control plus period, and now you can now implement the interface and generate constructor as well. So that is exactly what we are going to do next under email service. So first of all, let's create our, we want to grab a settings from the app settings.json. So let's see, let's paste this here. Let's put the constructor and pass in that. So to generate a constructor is also quite simple. Let's copy this, or we can click on this control period to generate constructor in here. Okay, so let's see. Now let's paste this, and that's the constructor that we have created. And as you can see from here, we are now injecting this config, and now we initialize it over here. Okay, so as you can see from this, we are now initializing over here. Now the next thing that we can do is also very simple. let's create a method, and this method is known as send email. So let's copy this, and now this method is known as send email. Okay, so as you can see from here, now we are sending email. Now this email, we are passing in the request DTO, and this request DTO, it is coming in from the controller. That is the account controller. So you can see it passes it over here to this method. So we're going to receive that method here. And the next thing that we can do, so when you go to the email service, if you check here, you receive it over here. Now this method has in 3 attributes or 3 properties that is known as the to, subject, and message. Now you create a new email, that's a my message, and now we get it from, so from then we get the get session email username. When you go to app settings.json, we have the email username over here, and that's what the new email that we have created as a fake one. Now when you go to the next one, email service, we have 2. So 2, we get a 2 from this module that is coming in, that's a request.to. Now we have subject, request.subject from this, and we have the body. Okay, so the body here, we also pass in text is equal to request.message that is coming from this model. Now you create a new SMTP account from this SMTP client. So control plus period. Now we need to use Mailkit, the one that we download, the system.mail, and this is what we need to use. Not this, not system.net.mail. We don't have to use this. So we have to use system.mailkit, and that's going to be the next one. So mailkit.smtp. So that's what we need to use. Take note of this. Okay, this is a package that we have created or installed. So the next thing that we do here is we create an object out of this SMTP client. Then we get a configuration by having the email host. So when you go to app settings, we have an email host as smtp.ethereal.email. That's the host, and we have to pass in the port, and the port is 587. So that's the port, and we want to use the start TLS. Okay, that's the SSL, secure socket layer options. So we want to use start TLS. Okay, so we need to now authenticate, because before you send an email, you yourself must log into your email account before you can compose email, isn't it? Yeah, so that is exactly what we are doing here. We authenticate by passing in our email.value, then password also .value. So you make sure anything that we are getting from the app settings, we use value for, because this is the key, and you want to get the value, not the key itself, the value. Okay, aside from that, we have to send the email. Then after sending email, what are you going to do again? We have to disconnect this, and the next thing that we can do is, after disconnecting, we want to return mail sent. If there's any error, we catch it up here. Okay, so now we have this email sent. Now when you go to our controller, we are saying that in case we receive any message known as mail sent, then want to return success equal to true. Okay, so you want to return that. Okay, so the next thing that we can do, or here we can return success equal to false, because when nothing happens here, when this is not gone through, we don't want to tell the person that success is true. So we can say success is false when this couldn't work, or we couldn't get any of these, but sure, it's going to work. So we can turn this off. We can decide to take this off, because hopefully if the email is correct, it's going to work as well for us. Okay, we save this. Now control plus period, let's inject that service. So we have to inject that service, and let's see if that service is going to be. So we have it here, and public. Okay, so service, the interface, public interface. Okay, so we save this. So we need to inject that service into the controller so we can actually use that. So we can inject that by using this email service. So private read only, let's inject it. Then we can inject, copy this, and copy this over here, comma, then we can paste this. Okay, so then we can copy this and we set it as _ email service equal to email service. So then this is solved. Okay, so we save that. Now the next thing that we need to do here is we have to specify or update the registration component. So registration component, this is what we need to do. We are going to invoke, that is a JavaScript, and that's going to help us to identify or set an alert. Here we can use any other notification method, but we are going to use the default one, that is the JavaScript alert. So let's navigate to the page, Solution Explorer. Now let's go to the client project and pages, and in here register. Okay, so this is the form that's going to register, and it is calling a method known as the register. So this register, when it passes the data into the registration mode, it's going to register that and going to create an email token, send it, and return the response to us. So we are saying that in here, we are saying if the result .register is successful, then you want to navigate to login. But here we don't want to navigate to login anymore. We want to confirm, we want to register. We want the person to confirm the email account. Okay, so we can do that by updating that method here. So let's see. Let's now copy this, and inside the handle registration method here, this is a method. We can now show what you want to show. So handle registration and handle registration over here. So let's paste this here. Okay, so before this message, we have to create it over here. So let's create a variable known as a message, and that's exactly what we see on top here. So you can copy this, and on top here you can initialize that in here. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is you want to create a new, let's say, method here, and in here you see we have a button, so we can now create a method in here, and that's going to be a message. So this is going to display the response, and now even with this button we can have in the form. So let's replace this button. Alright, so this is going to make it look nice, and even this you can say empty-2 as a margin top -2. So empty-2, and we're going to say empty-2. Okay, so we save this, and now this we have to inject the IJS runtime. So we can inject that on top by using this method. So let's copy this, and on top we have to paste this to inject this IJS method. So this is going to be the JS, and now after registration you want to display the user the account created successfully. Please confirm your email by clicking the link sent. Okay, so clicking the link sent. So that is a simple thing that you need to do. Now let's save this, and let's now run application. So let's run application here. So let's see, now it is building. Let's wait for it to run. Okay, so now let's run it ourselves. So we click on this button. Okay, so we wait for this application to run over here. So let's wait. So it's now building. So let's wait whilst it is building. So in this, after running, we're going to create a new account. Then you're going to have a message in the fake account. You're going to click on that, okay? And when you click on that, the next thing that you have to do here is we need to return. You see that this is going to return when you go to our controller. It is returning to this method, but we haven't created this method yet. So in order to create it, we have to create the method yet first. So let's do that before we can actually move on. Okay, we want to have a complete one. As soon as we register account, everything is going to work successfully. So to do that, remember that the name here is confirm email. That is a method name that we need to create. Okay, so the method here is confirm email. So this simple method is going to work to activate our account for us. So let's say that is the first method to create an account, and here we need to confirm our account as well. So as you can see from here, and that's also going to be an confirm. So confirm email, and this confirm email, we get user ID and token. Okay, so we are getting user ID and token, because you know when you check this, it is sending user ID and token. So you receive it over here. Now once we see, we check for white spaces or empty. If it matches, if you know there's no empty or white space, we now check our user manager and find out the user ID, this ID. We check if we have that, then we have to decode the token. Remember that here we encoded the token into a base64 URL. Okay, so we have to decode it to get a string for us. So we decode it over here and pass base64 URL decode. So here we encode and we are decoding it here. Then we are getting the byte from it, and here after getting the byte, then we check with the user manager email token. If it's synced, then we are going to confirm. Okay, but in order for us to work, there's also one thing that you need to do. So after confirming the email account, we have to check if it succeeds. We want to redirect the user to login page, and then we are using the app URL. Remember that this app URL contains the localhost and the port. So /login, so that's going to be the link we're going to move the user to. If not, return a bad request. The last thing that you need to do here is you have to add the email confirmation, because when you check this, when you click on the SQL Server object, okay, let's click on that. If you can't find this, click on this view button, and I'm going to see the SQL Server Object Explorer. Click on that. Now let's open our application, a database, and see what we have in there. So we open our application, a databases folder, and the name of this is JWT demo. So let's open this. Right click on open tables. Let's wait for a table folder to load all various tables that we have. Alright, so we keep waiting for it to load for a table. Now you can see we have a table here. So right click on this ASP.NET users and click on view data. Okay, so when you click on this, we're going to see a column name as confirmed email, and defaultly it is set to false. Email isn't confirmed. So this method that we have created in our controller in this email services, when the user click on that, it's going to confirm the email. So we need to update that column. How do you do that? The confirm email method is going to update it, but we need to add this service in the program.cs file in order to enable that to perform its function. So check it, you see this email is confirmed. The one that we just created as a new account isn't confirmed yet. Okay, so as you can see from here, it's not confirmed, and that's the email confirmed. Okay, so the first one is confirmed, but this isn't confirmed yet. So before we do that, or in order for us to do it, we have to register that service into the program.cs file. So let's go to program.cs file, Solution Explorer. Now in our server project, program.cs file, we have to add that service here. So this is a service that you need to add. Let me add it down here on top. Okay, so let me add it here, and that is a builder.services.configure. So identity options, okay, and we pass in option.sign-in.required confirmed email. equal to true, so email has to be confirmed. And we can even do the same thing. We have a lot in there, so if we pass in options dot and sign in dot, so you see we have required confirm account, confirm email, confirm phone number. So you can also confirm phone number as well. If you want to send a text to the person's phone number to check, you can do that. But for now, we are confirming the email account. That is exactly what we are doing for now. Okay, that's right. So we are done with it. Let's save this, and now let's try to run this application and see what we have now, or what we can actually do. So let's see. So in our controller, let's say, all right, let's wait for this to build, then we can now run this application. So let's see. Okay, so it is now building. So let's go in there and create a new account to register, and now here let's provide the email that we got from this, because you need to pass in a real email. So we click copy this, we go to application, now this is our email, and now let's add our own password. So let's add user at 123. Let's see, user at 123. Now let's submit. Okay, so you can see we have account created successfully. Now we see we have please confirm your email by clicking the link sent. And when you go to application, you see after creating the image service and the IE interface, we have to inject this service. We have to perform dependency injection. So in program.cs file, we have to add this builder.services.add scope, then the interface and this service. Now what this actually means here is anytime that we call this interface, we want to create an instance of this service. This instance contains the definition for a method called in this interface. So anywhere this method goes, or this interface goes, this instance is with it. Okay, so it's going to, that's why we call it that dependency injection. So as you see the message here, account created successfully, so please confirm your email account by clicking the link sent. So here we could have used a notification to display that, but for now let's use this JavaScript alert. So let's go to our Ethereum account, click on open mail. Now let's open the mail and see what we have. So we see we have confirm email. When you open that, we see welcome to Netcode-Hub site. Please confirm your email account by clicking on this button. So as soon as I hover the mouse, you can see it has the account, it has the user ID and the token. Down there, you can see we have a user ID and the token at this area. So check it again, user ID and the token. So if I click on this, it has to redirect me to API localhost/7250 / the API, and the account controller's name is account, and there's a method, action method in the controller known as confirm email, and passing these two parameters. So if I click on this, if everything works successfully, it has to navigate me to the login. But before that, let's check our that's our database table. Let's refresh it and see the account being created. So this is the account that we have created, and now check it. We see email confirmed, it is false. Email confirmed is false. So let's go in there and click on this button. So it is confirming the email. So now we are into the login. Okay, now let's go back and register and see if it is yes. It has changed to yes. So we see now it has now changed to true. So this means that account has now successfully confirmed. Therefore we can log in now. So let's log in and see. So user at 123, click on login, and now we are now logged into the application. So it's very quite simple, and you can see our confirmed email is actually working. That is it for this video. I will link the source code and the description of this video so you can check. And if you want to talk about, if you want to check the authentication and authorization as either user or administrator, that is a role based, and the application authentication as well, I have the videos linked under the description and the related videos. Check that, and that's going to be helpful to you as well. Thank you guys for watching. You can subscribe to this button, and if in case you like what I'm doing, then you can give me a thumbs up, and you can comment anything as well at all. Thank you for watching this video. See you soon. The next time maybe we're going to talk about how do you create a forgot password in case you're trying to log in and you forget your password. Are you going to have any mechanism for us to retrieve a password or set up a new password? Yes, we can. Maybe we'll talk about that in the next video. Okay, so I'm going to catch you up very soon.